back to the YouTube channel, guys. And today I have got the first of many, by the way, but first on that I wanted with significance. So a lot of you are going to know who this person is, so I've kind of kept it quiet. So I'd like to welcome on DJ Jack Diamond. How are you?
Easy now.
We've had a scream before we even started recording. So obviously, you've seen some of the podcasts. I've explained it to you. It's not about glamorising anything.
Yeah, man.
Nothing like that. So it's all about just about you, your truth.
Yeah, definitely.
So at the end, you get to ask me any question you want. There's no question off limit. So you get to ask me anything you want. But my first question, which I've said to you, is, who are you?
Yeah, so I'm Jack Diamond. Real name. Everyone thinks it's my stage name, but it's my real name.
Okay.
Yeah, I probably should have gone into porn or something, shouldn't I? But I just didn't have it in me. No, so yeah, I'm from Leeds originally, Seacroft. Being taught music from an early age. My mum and dad met at Back to Basics back in the day. So I've spoken to Dave Beer since about it, who owns it, and he was like, "You're a Basics baby, you're a Basics baby," and
Wow.
I feel like
well, there were two.
Yeah.
There were two Back to Basics.
Right.
Because there was one Leeds, bottom end of town, and then there was one in Sheffield. There were two. I remember them both.
Yeah.
My age now.
Yeah, so I mean, my dad more influenced me with it. He's not with us anymore. I lost him recently, actually. But he used to pick me up from football training and be blasting Back to Basics CDs and Cream and Head Candy and
Now you're making me reminisce.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what then. Let's go back in time. So let's go from, because you're a generation of primary, then you went to high school, didn't you? So you go primary till year 11, then you go to secondary or high, whatever you want to call it. So explain or give me your earliest memories, because obviously you won't remember being born. So your earliest memories, because obviously you just touched on a little bit there with football. So give me your earliest memories until you start high school, so until you're like 11, 12. What's your earliest memories?
What, music-wise?
Just you in general, your earliest memories like mum, dad,
I was a little
sisters.
shit. Little shit, mate.
Okay.
I were alright, and then when I got to about 10, I just started being a little shit. I was just getting in loads of trouble, rebelling, getting.
So was it just mum and dad, or did you have brothers and sisters up like that?
I had a little sister.
Okay.
When I was 10, so she came when I was 10, but it was a different dad.
Right. Okay.
So my mum and dad split up when I was 3, and she met my stepdad, and they've been together ever since. To be fair.
Okay.
So 20 odd year now. So I were an only child till I was 10. Sometimes part of me thinks that it might be the reason why I was a little shit, because I have a lot of best mates who have had brothers and sisters like within a couple of years of each other, very close, become best mates, and sometimes I feel like you almost, when you've got siblings that close to you, pull yourself through things, don't you, as a team, and if you're a bit of a, it's not like a victimisation thing though, because I wouldn't ever blame it on being an only child. I think I was just a little twat sometimes anyway. But
no, I can relate to it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I had brothers on my dad's side, but on my mum's there was only me. But I was an only child to my mum till I was 21.
Right.
So I don't know if you can do it, but sometimes I found myself saying to so I've got 2 young brothers and a sister. I often found myself, I don't do it as much now, but I used to go, your mum. And then we used to say ours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I go, your mum. You know what I mean? I found myself, and after a while I just think to myself, why do I keep saying yours? It's my mum as well, but because of the gap between us.
Yeah, I hear that.
So 10 years old. So before that, everything was, you're just a normal kid?
Yeah, and then my mum and stepdad were quite strict with me, understandably, because I was a little shit, and I was rebelled, and I got kicked out of school. I went
primary?
To high school now.
Alright, so...
I got sent home from primary residential though, because I stood on bunk bed with all lads and pissed off bunk bed because I just thought it was funny. And this lad was just pissing me off at the time. He was like a little bit of a gimp. And I just went, oh, get off. I just stood up and went, wee.
What primary school did you go to?
Westport Lane in Horsforth. And they were like, you're the first ever person to get kicked off a residential. But then also I got caught in girls' dorm as well. I think girls' dormitory. Or only in year 6 though.
That might have been a good reason that sends you on. That and
Yeah.
piss on bumper. Yeah, I can see why.
Yeah, so that didn't really set it off greatly. Going into high school.
Okay. So what high school did you go to?
Went to Horsforth.
Oh,
Because my mum, my dad was from Seacroft.
Yeah.
They had an house in Seacroft together. And then when they broke up, my dad stayed in Seacroft. I went with my mum and she met someone that were in Horsforth.
Ah, okay.
So then I actually grew up for quite a lot of time in Rodley, which is next to Horsforth.
So you've gone from one dynamic of Seacroft, which, not that I'm slagging Seacroft, because I spent a lot of years in Seacroft, believe it or not. And I do like Seacroft, Swarcliffe. I actually played rugby for Winmore. So,
but you had some good dudes with them, didn't you?
well, anyway, it's another story. The Winmore lads know about that one. Penders were a place we often visited anyway. But then you like Seacroft, but then you like Rodley, like it's two different
worlds.
Yeah, completely.
Literally, brother. It was like I went to Horsforth. I went to high school in Horsforth after having the Seacroft influence still, because I was still regularly seeing my dad. Still over these ways a lot.
Yeah.
With all the Seacroft lot. And then I was going to Horsforth, where it was like only way is Horsforth. Yeah. You know, only way is Essex. It was like you go to this millionaire environment as such. A lot of people do well for themselves in Horsforth, and it becomes like there's a lot of snobbiness and that over there. And then you come to Seacroft where it's nitty gritty and it's...
Yeah, so do you think you often took your influences from Seacroft to Horsforth?
Big time.
Yeah. Big
time. That's why I got booted out of high school.
Yeah, because you're kind of like the rough and ready kid, because you know what it's like on that side where people are struggling, and then you go into Horsforth Rodley where people, like you say, it's good money. Like I remember that up there were like where all the Emmerdale stars were always, where they lived, so they always lived up that way. Do you know what I mean?
I always say it as well. It's like, you know, fast forward when I have been DJing and all these things here. Like, whenever I've been over these ways, Seacroft ways again, compared to when I do it in Horsforth and that, I get looked after 10 times more in Seacroft and all that. People that have got nowhere near as much as they do in Horsforth.
It's because there's an understanding. Whereas I'm not going to say particular areas, but there's some places where you go where they expect you to already have, whereas people that you've grown up with or see you know what it's like not to have. So there's two different comparisons in there.
Yeah.
So we're in secondary school. What did you get kicked out of secondary school for? What year was you in when you got kicked out?
To be fair, I made it to first year of sixth form.
Oh wow! So you got your GCSEs?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, do you know what? I take my hat off to my stepdad really, because he was a very intelligent man. He is an intelligent man. Sorry, he is still here.
Yeah.
I was getting done a lot, and you know, just being a bad lad outside of school anyway, getting mixed up with wrong crowds and that.
Was that in Horsforth or in Seacroft?
Bit of both, really.
Okay.
Bit of both. And then it came to like GCSEs, and I was predicted to fail it all, obviously. And he basically locked me in the house for like 3 months. Just pass papers. Taught me everything, and I ended up getting 10 GCSEs.
Wow.
And it were all down to him, to be honest.
That's off to your stepdad, isn't it?
Yeah. Big up him, really.
So actually, in reality, regardless of what people might think of you, of what we're going to lead up to, quite an intelligent fella. Because regardless of your stepdad sitting you down, you got to have the brains to be able to accept and store it, haven't you?
It was hard for me because I were always in two different worlds at once, because I had this different lifestyle in Horsforth where my stepdad and my mum were prim and proper and they'd done really well for themselves, and you know, just got a lot different ways of life. And then I went in Seacroft. My dad, he were, you know, bankrupt taxi driver, brilliant bloke in so many ways, but just such a different. They just ended up in different worlds. And to me as a young lad, it was like juggling both worlds, and it used to mess with my head a lot.
So when you were growing up, so we'll take you to, we're going to say end of GCSEs, because you got kicked out in sixth form in first year. So then, because throughout life, heroes change, don't they? So who was your hero at passing your GCSEs? So when you pass your GCSEs, you're about to start sixth form. You haven't been kicked out yet. Because obviously I'm guessing that there's a new lease of life and you're thinking, well, actually, I am capable of doing this.
Yeah.
If I knuckle down, I can do it. I've just proven it in GCSEs.
Yeah, so...
Who's your hero?
My stepdad has got me, because I've ended up doing really well in recruitment now, which we'll get onto in business, and I've ended up, learning a lot about business in the world, and getting me through my GCSEs, and my stepdad was the reason behind all that. But at the time, I thought he was the worst person on the planet, because
hindsight's a wonderful thing.
Because all my mates were doing anything they wanted, and I was the one that I couldn't leave the house. And this is as a 14, 15-year-old lad, and it was just like, this is ridiculous. And then I had obviously my dad at the other end of the scale, who were like, come and live with me, boy. Oh, you don't have to worry about curfews, getting home from house parties. It's all good. And I was like, oh, fucking hell.
And as a kid, that's what you want, isn't it?
It's like jackpot, innit? So I thought my dad was my hero. He's my hero. It's hard because my dad is my hero in so many ways, but my stepdad also is, and I don't think there's been a lot of years that I've not really given my stepdad the respect that he's deserved along the line.
Well, I'm sure that after watching this today, he's probably seen that he actually did have it.
Yeah, massively. Yeah, massively, mate.
Okay, what did you get kicked out of school for? I've got to ask. I've got to ask. You can't just leave it there and just move on. I've got to ask. Because I'll tell you why I'm asking is because I'm looking at you now and I go, right, so 15, 16, his stepdad's knuckles him down. He ends up with 10 GCSEs. Finally, penny might have dropped where he goes, actually, I'm half right here. Then I listen to you and you go, I've got my dad influence who was saying, you don't have to do all these things, you can just come and chill here.
Yeah.
And then I go, what decision does he make? And then we know now that you get kicked out.
So I moved to my dad's when I was 15.
Okay.
I had a fallout with my mum and stepdad. I had somewhere to run, basically.
Yeah.
I ran, of course. Now I've grown up, anyone would do that, I feel, in that mindset at that time.
Because you had that option.
You don't understand what people do for you at that age yet, still. Because you're still learning, aren't you? And you're just I were a young, reckless lad. And, always wanted to be centre of attention. And I was just a class clown. Like, I never did anything malicious to anyone or hurt anyone or evil. I just always did silly things.
Do you think you're neurodiverse? Like ADHD or like that?
Yeah, massively. Yeah, but I love it. I love having that. It's how I've done so well with certain things. But then it's how I've been bollocked for a lot, probably. But anyway, I moved to my dad's, and then my mate's little cousin were getting bullied at our school, who was in like a younger year, right? But my mate was at a different school. My mate were at Lawnswood.
Okay.
We were at Horsforth. So he says, look, we need to do something about this lad, because the lad that were doing it were only a year below us. They were in year 11. We were 12. So I was like, fucking hell, what are we going to do here? So anyway, I was quite pally with receptionist, because I was mates with her daughter. So found out where he were and all that.
So shall we just say, without us going into details, that
we brought him onto our school premises.
Okay, so
to deal with it and bag this lad.
We generally don't need to go into.
No,
all we'll know is that in hindsight,
just a scrap.
Yeah, you ended up having a scrap with this kid because he was bullying your mate's younger brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you get kicked out. So I suppose then the reins are off, aren't they now?
Yeah. So now, for me, this is where my dad became my hero as well.
Yes, because I'm going to stop you because I don't know where I've heard this little bit. In fact, I think I might have heard you say it. But isn't it your dad that actually got you in to DJing?
Yeah.
So is this your bit where?
So I always did performing arts going through school. I sang all over. I danced and I acted. My stepdad put me into acting school when I was younger. Scala in Horsforth. Did a lot of acting. So I did all round performing arts. I sang quite a lot.
Do a lot of people know this about you?
Not a lot, not a massive amount.
Wow.
Not a massive amount. But then, so this is where this comes into play. It's weird because everyone's had their own little part to play, I believe, in my eyes. My mum always pushed me so much with it as well and was so proud. She always cried her eyes out to write softy. Like me, really. And I got kicked out and I had 6 months where I didn't know what to do. I wasn't doing anything, I wasn't working, I wasn't earning. I was 17 at the time. And my dad said, you need to do something that you love. You need to, you're a performer. You need to do something. And then that performing arts course came up at Park Lane College in Leeds.
Okay.
And so I had a 6-month gap. And this is where my dad was my hero, because he said he made me follow my dream in that and do something that I loved. Obviously, I'd get the equivalent to A-levels in performing arts anyway, so it'd be qualifications. I'd finish my education. But in those 6 months, even though he were on his arse himself, you know, we had a 2-bed flat in Swarcliffe and he were barely scraping barrel every month. And he used to still make sure that he'd go to M&S, get us some tea. He'd get us nice teas every night. He'd give me 40, 50 quid every Friday to go and just do something with my mates. He didn't have it. All I had to do was vac a 2-bed flat and wash up a few dishes. And he made sure that I had that still. And he didn't have it to give, you know. And that was in that period. And then I started doing performing arts at college in the September.
Okay.
And then that's when I really hit the ground with it.
Okay, so performing arts, you go back to college to do it. So what are you doing in college now? When you're doing performing arts, what are you actually doing?
So we did. I did quite a lot of musical theatre.
Okay.
So Queen of the Night, like Bobby Brown, Whitney Houston. We used to did massive show, massive production of that. We travelled all over the UK doing street dance, break dancing, which my dad did as a kid, which was brilliant for him to see because he came to all the shows. And
did he ever tell you what crew he was in when he did his?
No, but he used to say that they used to have battles at Eufy and like Arndale Centre in Croggy, and they used to just lay lino out.
The famous one that I knew that was like hip hop back then, there was a group, they were called 01. They were probably the best hip hop break dancers that were around when I was growing up. They were called 01 or something like that. They were a mixture of like Seacroft Aerials, like that kind of area.
Because this is when it's mad talking about it all now, because it really makes me realise a lot, because I don't not spoke about it really a lot. And it's like even little things like we used to watch the Beat Street breakdancing films together, and with Jean-Claude Van Damme when he's in that video, that famous looking kid.
Okay, so performing arts.
Yeah.
You see it through?
Yeah.
Okay.
Saw it through.
So
got an A, an A and 2 Bs.
So I'm guessing they were wanting you to go on to university, or was it to go on tour, or was it to join something?
So we did a lot of competitions across the UK as a group called Explosive.
Okay.
We went to like Move It, which was a big dance competition. We went to Breaking Convention, which we won. We went to Fresh, something called Fresh, which we won. And it was brilliant experience. We had such a great set of people. It were ideal being one of only straight lads in class as well, I'll tell you that. So there was some great time. There were drama.
Okay,
but,
yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, but there were great memories. And then, do you know what? I loved it. I was good at it. My strength was singing, really.
Okay.
That's where I really shone. But I could just move well, and I just had rhythm, and my dad actually could, obviously, as well. And I just knew, obviously, when you go into something like that at university, or you go for it like that, you're earning peanuts before you make it. Yeah. And the talent out there is, you know, the people that actually go the full Monty is like 1 or 2% of people. Like, you've got to be something off the scale.
It's similar to like they reckon that it's the same as football, don't they?
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
that join academies, it's only something like 2% that actually go on to be Premiership footballers.
Exactly.
But the dream that these kids have to be a Premiership footballer, it's crazy, isn't it?
And you see, this is what I mean, mate. It keeps going back and forth because when I was like 14, 15, my stepdad knew how much I loved music, and I were always the guy on the playlists, and you know that my stepdad and my mum used to love it. They used to do Speed Queen and Verge and Back to Basics, and you know, like, so it was always around me.
Yeah.
Whether it was my mum's side or my dad's side, and my stepdad and mum told me some brilliant stories, and they knew Dave Beer as well, like, and he bought me some decks out of nowhere on Christmas once when I was like 15. And I was like, wow, I'd never seen a pair of decks in my life, never used them.
1210s.
They were called Newmarks, and you fitted this little iPad into the middle of them.
Oh, right.
And it were all...
See, I'm going too old school, I'm going actual
Yeah, we weren't quite on bloody vinyls. I know DJ made me look pagged, but I'm not that quite pagged yet, I'm not that old. So, yeah, he got me some decks, which were amazing, and then I just stuck in my room for hours. And then I got to college, started doing performing arts, knew how to DJ. We started mingling with Notre Dame a little bit, Park Lane, and then what we started doing is throwing parties. We used to go to function clubs like Old Leo's in our Woodley, or loads of little working men's clubs and conservative clubs all over Leeds, right? Tell them that it were a 21st birthday or whatever. And then we used to get every college together and have mad parties. And that's where I really started getting known to DJ, because I was booked for them all. I used to DJ at them all.
So what age are you now?
I'm 17, 18 now.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. And then I got a residency at Wybeck pub in Alton Moor every Saturday for 20 quid a set or something. And I was buzzing about it. And I had some great nights in there, to be honest. I really did.
I can imagine.
I know, yeah.
No, a couple of lads.
Met some brilliant people at boovies and that from there. They all took me in and started DJing at loads of people's private parties and garden parties that were always mental, because they were always this side of Leeds.
Yeah.
Then I'd get booked for some at prim and proper ones over in Orsworth, where, you know, they've got a big patio and a big firing garden and all this, you know. So I did it all, and all on Wigton Lane. Started doing Wigton Lane parties in Alwoodley and
Millionaires Row.
Yeah. So I've seen every avenue of life, you know, through DJing.
It says a lot about you, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How you can be. I mean, not that I'm slagging off all and more, by the way, but you can be at Whitebeck pub, which back in the day was renowned, quite a renowned pub. But then you're going from there. But then you're DJing up on Millionaires Row doing private parties on Millionaires Row and Wigton Lane, where it actually is Millionaires, isn't it?
Well, it was like this. It was the one weekend where I DJ'd at Gipton Working Men's Club.
Okay.
On 18th, and it was fucking mental. Like, I must have been up till about 11 in the morning Saturday or on a Friday, and I had a set for Desperate Housewives of Cheshire on Saturday, because one of them were in Leeds and it were on Wigton Lane. So I had to go straight through. Went straight from Gipton Working Men's Club, straight to that kitchen party, straight to Alwood Lane, did this Desperate Housewives of Cheshire thing where it were all filmed and all this. And I'm there, threw it up.
Sweating.
Yeah, like...
Just sweating it.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
But they all loved it as well. Do you know what I mean? All iron people love it as well. But the people in the worser areas always looked after me more. And I've always thought about it. I say it every time I've been interviewed about DJing. I've got to say it, because I've seen every avenue of life and I've been down every path and seen how so many different people live. Because through DJing, because you're always getting asked to after party, you're always getting asked to DJ at birthdays, so you see what people's lives are like.
Do you think people look at you as one of them? He's one of us.
I think the people in the worse off areas do.
Yeah. That's
definitely.
You're a Seacroft lad, aren't you?
Yeah.
So they look at you as he's one of us.
I think the people in the higher up areas look at me as the DJ. realise that I'm not a bad lad, I'm alright, I'm sound, and we end up partying anyway, you know.
So when does it change? When does it go from 20 quid, you know, these 20 quids a night, to like not hitting the big time? Because I think, because I'm going to touch on it. I saw a video of you where you talk about you do a sobriety. We'll get onto that.
Yeah.
So where do you go from? And obviously I've seen your video where you've got an office and all the rest of it. That catch what that kid does is amazing, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Although
yeah.
I think it's a trick. Or
it's
is it
real.
Is
it's
it real,
brother? I promise
because
you.
I see the two things in his hand. I think, does he just switch it and pretend? But yeah,
it was crazy.
Listen,
Can
I just say, if anyone has an option or gets a chance, go on to DJ, go on to his Instagram, and there's one where they're sat in the office and he throws a thing and he's blinded and he just goes like that and catches it. Like, listen,
so
do you know how many times I watched it? I even went like that with my finger. Listen, I'm not joking. I was going like that to try to slow mo it, because I'm thinking, nah, it's not real.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
mad,
and I couldn't catch it out.
So
how do you go from? Because do you know what it is? I know a couple of people that have been in the music business, and it's quite fickle, isn't it? Like you can be on top one day, and you can be scraping the barrel the next.
It's the best thing. The best way to describe it is a roller coaster of emotion.
Yeah,
it really is.
So I'm guessing there's been a roller coaster of emotion for you.
Oh my
DJ.
God, mate.
So tell us explain us the way up.
Because
obviously you're doing you're doing all your stuff around the areas. You then go in little parties. You've got your little residency at a club, but then one minute you're at Gibson Club, Whitebeck, and then next minute you're doing Cheshire of Housewives.
So this was always word of mouth.
Yeah.
Where we're getting all these.
Okay.
And I was so lucky where I've been doing all these college parties. I was getting a little bit known, and I had two friends called Dennis and Nico who had gone to uni in Newcastle, right, to work for an events company called Loose Days. Okay. Who was running Newcastle. They had every club boxed off. And it got to the point where they'd finished the degrees in Newcastle. And the owner of Loose Days said, right, Dennis, Nico, you're from Leeds originally. Let's take Loose Days to Leeds.
Wow, and they're your pals.
And they rang me, FaceTime me and said, Jack, this is your time, bro. This is it. We've got an opportunity here. So say goodbye to your college parties. We're about to step into the club scene. You get me? So it was like, fucking hell, this is happening now. You know, but I DJ'd for a long time. Like, I feel like I've done it the right way. Yeah. Because I see a lot of DJs now that go straight from bedroom, straight into a club. And I'm like, I prefer it how I did it. Even I sometimes did 60th birthday parties. I'd be on mic like, come on Julie, get up here, let's twist again like we did last summer. Yeah. You know, there's a raffle, 10 minutes guys, get ready. You know, I've announced buffets on left all the time, toilets on right, and slung a mixing. I've done it all, you know.
Yeah.
I've proper earned my stripes in the DJ world.
I'm going to say you've actually earned your stripes on it.
And I tell you what, just quickly, this kid recently, I needed a set covering at a bar in Otley, and there were guaranteed 250 people there. Guaranteed, it was sold. And I said, "Oh, God, I need a cover DJ. What are you doing? Are you free?" He went, "Yeah, I'm free, but I'm not doing it for less than 200 quid." And this was like a 17-year-old lad. And I says, "Mate, what has happened to this world?" I says, "I used to DJ firstly for note a lot, and secondly, I was buzzing when I got my wage at Whitebeck every Saturday." And it was no. I was like, why are you not I've got 250 people here, guaranteed. I used to do it to 15 people and fucking have the best night of my life.
Yeah.
You know, or in a living room with fucking 5 people and just love it, even if those 5 people were loving my music. And I seen that and I thought, is this how society's changed? Like, I'm not doing it for less than 200 quid. What about hearing a roar across the dance floor to your music? That I'm giving you the opportunity to do, and I had to give him 100 quid, 150 quid, because that's what I were getting, and that's where I am. That's what position I'm in now. And I was still only getting that, you know, because it was for a family friend, and I just thought, fucking hell, like what is going on here?
Not the fact that
and that's
the
someone
DJ,
that's
this DJ's actually give you a set.
that's
Cover for
somebody that's only ever DJ to 4 walls in his room.
Wow.
All I used to do, I used to have my deck set up in my dad's flat on the fucking hob cooker, and just be there for hours dreaming of playing to crowds, dreaming. And I used to be in that kitchen till 3-4 in the morning, you know. And it was like, and then this is why everything I get now is I appreciate so much with music.
So, the guys come down, Newcastle, setting it all up. You then sit there. That's what I've been waiting for all my life.
Yep.
All those times in the kitchen, on the hob.
Yep.
It's now, it's here.
Yeah. And then the roller coaster begins, baby. We're going like this. And it's like, wow. And then they threw an event at Dollhouse, which was Tom Zanetti's old place. Now, Tom's become a really, really good friend of mine now. Brilliant man. Really good guy. And anyway, I was doing a set for them at an event, and he just happened to walk in one night, and he saw me slinging down my tunes, and he was like, yo, who the fuck are you? And I was like, I'm Jack, mate, I'm Jack. And he was like, mate, I need you. I need you on my rotor. I need you on my fucking timetable. And I was like, let's fucking go, Tom. And then I was doing all these things for Loose Days. Next thing you know, I'm signed by Sleeping is Cheating, which was his brand. Yeah. Then I'm doing Insomnifest at Beaverworks to big crowds then, and you know, big raves like Old Post Office and stuff like this, and Made in Leeds Festival and that, like and this is where I thought, oh my god, I'm on the wheel, I'm on the wagon wheel sort of thing. And yeah, so then I were in with Sleeping's Cheating lot, which were massive for me, something that I grew up listening to, you know, all Swagger volumes and playing with people like Ryan James, who were a massive influence to me, and Tom Garnett and Phil Dolman and bloody Ill Phil and that, and it was just like, wow, fucking hell. Just even, I played a set with Tom in Dollhouse, and it just absolutely went fucking off. Played all the classics, everyone were fucking gassed, it was wall to wall packed. And then I started doing like courtyard parties for him and stuff like this. And then I got an opportunity then to do my own event.
Okay.
So this was another step. This was a new step in my DJ career. Bearing in mind, I was still doing all student parties with Loose Days as well, because Loose Days was a student brand.
Okay.
So they were doing all freshers stuff.
Yeah.
All like your Tuesday night madnesses, your Thursdays, Wonky Wednesdays, all that bollocks. They were sick as well. So I had a mixture of all student dudes and then all fucking dirty Leeds dudes with Sleeping is Cheating lot, because they were all charmers that came out for Sleeping is Cheating. All good charmers. And then I did a new club opened called Hideout in Leeds, right, which was opposite Hilton Hotel, just under that bridge, you know, near Scarborough Taps and that. It was 13 barbers upstairs. It was Hideout bar downstairs, and that was my first proper every single Saturday set in Leeds. And
so that's your first residential then, basically.
Yeah, because I was doing student dues. I used to play at Backrooms on Thursdays. Okay. For Loose Days, but I'd do like the room 2, which were house beats, and then obviously you'd have your R&B, which is what Backrooms is renowned for. And yeah, then I got a chance to do my own nights at Hideout on Saturdays, and then all Leeds lot started coming there. We had some right nights in there, but then it ended up turning really bad, and people just had so much trouble in there. It just were like battle at postcodes, and it got shut down. But I had a so my event was called Back to Diamonds. It's called Back to Diamonds. Okay. Because I used to think, I actually sat down with my mate Clough, and I was like, I've got a chance to do my own event, you know. And I don't know what to call it, I just don't know what to do. And he was like, well, what is everyone going to say? Where are we off? Oh, we're off Back to Diamonds. Obviously, I had the Back to Basics thing inside of me, embedded in me. Yeah. And at first, I looked at it as like, is it a little bit of a copyright thing though. But then I was like, well, no, because it's just like we're off back to diamonds.
Yeah,
you know, it's the new sound, it's the new vibe, and yeah, we started doing events and it popped off. We did, and then Kane, who obviously we partnered up with Tom at the time with Sleeping is Cheating. He got a gist of it, what were going down, and he was like, "Come and do one up at Dollhouse." I was like, all right, yeah. So we threw one at Dollhouse. We threw a courtyard party, sold out, packed, right down Space Ginnell. It were unbelievable. It were like, my ears feel like standing up.
I used to like the court night.
Yeah, man.
I always bank holidays. That one me. I've got a courtyard.
Bank holiday. That's when it was. Yeah. That's when we did it. And then I had through X5 Dubs at Dollhouse, which was like an underground house night. It was like the most money they took on bar that year. And it was like, fucking hell, this is really happening now.
However, that's you going up, innit? So, because I know speaking to you, there's obviously, it's a party scene. And with a party scene comes substances.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not here to speak about substances, although I've had many people on to speak about it, but like you said, it's like a roller coaster ride. So where's the bit where you go over the edge and you're coming back down?
I want anywhere near going down at that point. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So it was still like, it got to the point where I was playing at a new bar called Habibi, which was like a rooftop terrace. Yeah. And Tom Zanetti's old manager Mickey spotted me in there, and he just started his own management agency called Best Management with a guy called JP, and they signed me. And what they had on their road were a lot of Love Islanders and reality stars. So what part of my package was, I'd teach them all how to DJ and show them the ropes for mixing and blending, and then I'd go to all these amazing parties with them, because they always used to get booked for fucking mad parties. The Love Islanders out there, and we'd be in Tenerife with them, playing Tenerife, and it was funny because they used to walk down the strip and everyone would be like, "Oh my God, Love Islanders, let's get a picture," you know, and I'd be with them and I'd be like, "Do you remember me, love, season 2? Yeah, you probably don't, or in and out, Casa Amor." And they were like, some of them went, yeah. I'm like, fuck off, man. Sometimes like, all right, you were married at first sight. And then I just thought, nah, I'm just DJing it. You know what I mean? And then, so that was like another level of high. Because I was all of a sudden mixed with all these stars and celebrities, and it was like, whoa, this is mad. And then it were, I think that's when I started going a bit downhill, because it was so irregular. So many different people wanted me to DJ all the time. You know, the End Bar, District, Mint Warehouse, The Warehouse, everywhere. Fibre won't let me play there because I knew I was a fucking maniac. So, because I used to walk off every set soaked. I used to be absolutely fucking soaked. I'd walk on like Tony Montana and walk off like Ian Beale. You know. Like, because I was that involved, and I performed, you know, because I had that in me from a young age.
You're a performer?
Performer, yeah. And that's why we're getting booked so much, because people were like, this guy's not just going in front of loads of people, he's like, come on, you know, he's fucking stood on tables, he's whipping his top off, he's like, fucking, and everyone were thriving off it and getting, people like to see energy, don't they?
Yeah.
Especially when they're all probably 2 pills in or something as well. Like, you know what I mean? It's the best thing ever when you're off. You know, you love people being like, you know. And I played at a festival in Newcastle called Loose Fest, Loose Days, obviously. And I played in front of 9,000 people, and it was like, oh, fucking hell! It was the biggest moment of my life, really. And you know, it's like I was gutted that my dad couldn't be there for that. Really well. You know, he taught me a lot. I feel like I'm fucking welling up a little bit. Sorry about that. Fucking hell. Yeah, so it was like he'd inspired me so much, and
it's a look, we did it, Dad moment. Isn't
it? I wish he'd have seen it. But in a way, you know, I feel like he looks down on me a lot now, and I don't know. I mean, I feel like some of it's got a bit to do with that. You know, not really dealing with that. I've not really dealt with it yet. Because my life's just so fucking full on, and it's like I'm trying to hold down recruitment, and then all of a sudden it's like I'm DJing so much. I had a partner. I've got a 1-year-old son, and everything just fell apart. And
so is this after the 9,000 people?
no, it's a bit longer after that.
Yeah, but this is where the roller coaster ride.
Yeah,
is.
because I probably got a bit big for my bollocks.
Okay.
And I was like, I fucking made it, you know. I was like, I'm in big leagues now, and I was nowhere near big leagues. But it was the first taste that I had of like, you know, even walking through the festival and getting asked people like, Jack, I don't know, are you alright? And I was like, whoa. In Leeds City Centre, walking down Brigham, and people were like, yes, bro, you know, and it was like, I don't know, I think it sort of went to my head a little bit, if I'm honest. And then I started forgetting about what were important, and all I was bothered about is DJing. Because I was such a party animal anyway, before DJing, and I always had that rebellious thing in me as a kid. It was like, it was the best and worst thing to ever do for me, my personality DJing, because it's given me memories that will last forever because of how amazing those moments have been. But then it's also ruined a lot of things in my life. Like,
so I'm guessing obviously this is where you talk about like the substance misuse, because it's ready available. DJ, you're well looked after when you're around certain environments. And I'm guessing it doesn't make much difference even when you're mixing with people from upper class or famous.
Because it's just absolutely everywhere, man.
So I'm guessing there's a mixture then in it. You live in the time of your life, you think you've made it, but there's also this other side, isn't there, which is keeping you going. Yeah. And it's the party side. Because
you got to think I'm playing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday a lot of the time. A lot of the time, the sets on Saturday night go through to Sunday afternoon in some cases. Yeah. I've done like 19-hour DJ sets, mate. Wow. You know, in the same spot for 19 hours. Like, this is what I mean, because I loved it that much. And it's...
So you mentioned you've got a 1-year-old daughter now?
Son,
Vinny, 1-year-old son.
Little Vinny Diamond, man.
So... Vinny, I like that name, Vinny Diamond.
It's like an old school Denzel Washington. I like Vinny Diamond, man.
So how does that come about? Because I'm thinking, you've had plenty of women throwing themselves at you being a DJ. Not that I'm saying you're a good looking fella. I'm just saying plenty of women.
Yeah.
You know, even the ugly ones get some love sometimes.
Yeah. I know. Well, I've done all right, haven't I?
So. Because I'm guessing you wouldn't have had much time for relationships because your concentration's on DJing.
Yeah.
But then when you finally get in a relationship.
So, we'll go back. Obviously, when I was doing after I'd done the college parties, I went into recruitment. Again, stepdad said, I think you'd be good at sales. You're a bit of a charismatic person, and I just feel like you'd be good in sales. Recruitment, I think, is a good option for you career-wise. And he got me in touch with a few people and helped me with my CV. Again, this is another thing my stepdad's been brilliant with. Got me opened the right doors for me. And I started in recruitment at 18. Okay. So I was doing all this whilst doing recruitment. And it resulted in me getting let go from a few companies, as you can imagine, you know. And then the Loose Days lads came over from Newcastle to Leeds, and my first opportunity with them was a Thursday night residency. Okay. And I was at a company at the time, and I thought I could do both, and I couldn't do both. There were no way. It lasted about a month. I got sacked, and all of a sudden I was a full-time DJ. I was DJing like 4 or 5 days a week. And what I'd do is, I was living in a flat with my mate in town. I'd DJ at a club, or a uni party or something till about 4 or 5 in the morning. Then we'd go to an after party till about 11 midday. Then I'd get my head down at about 2, 3 in the afternoon. I'd wake up at 7, 8 p.m. Have a pot noodle or something, or some chicken nuggets. I just love chicken nuggets. And I just always loved nuggets. And they were always fairly cheap, you know, Bird's Eye ones.
They're always available, aren't they?
Yeah, they're
chicken
always.
Nuggets are always available.
Just a bang 20
chicken
Bird's
nuggets or
Eye.
fish fingers.
So that's why I've ended up putting a bit of this.
Don't even start. Don't get me started, man.
And then I'd do that. And then I'd go do it all again. And this were 5 days a week for 3 months. And this is partying 5 days a week, you know. And I stopped talking to my closest mates from school, some of them. My mum, it broke my mum completely. Like, I was going round there on a Sunday because I didn't DJ Sundays. Just an absolute mess. Like, life just sucked out of me. Don't get me wrong, it beat any bloody Joe Wick's home workout because I lost about 2 stone in fucking 3 months. So that were alright.
Yeah, but not good for you.
Jesus Christ, I look fucked, you know.
Yeah.
Because that was 3 months, and my mum took me for a meal, brought down to me, and my grandma's song came on. She's not with us anymore, but my grandma's song came on in Frankie Benny's, and it was like fucking weird. And we were both crying his eyes out and that, and it's like, hey, I could get emotional about it right now. Like, it were a bad time in my life. There's been a few, mate. There's been a few, and I packed it in. She spoke to my old manager at my recruitment company, and they give me another chance. Right, so I packed in DJing, and I did really well in recruitment. I built £250,000 at the company I was at, you know, thriving, and I met my missus there. She moved up from Oxford and started at this company, so then I met her, and obviously my DJing was still on the up because I was still getting opportunities and I was still doing great sets on a weekend and getting involved with the right people, but we're also with her, and she was a outgoing girl and she's an outgoing girl. I keep talking like no one's bloody here anymore. My stepdad's here and she's still here.
Yeah.
She came to everything with me, so she came to
Okay.
all sets with me, and it kept me in line, really.
Yeah. So when people try to drag you off to an after party,
Yeah,
she's
so
there,
she'd
no.
come, she'd
come with you.
but we'd go at a sensible time.
Yeah.
You know, instead of me staying out for 12 hours later. And then it was going really well, and she ended up falling pregnant. And, you know, it was one of them where it wasn't like a kid. It was like, oh, God, I'm going to have this kid. If I'm being honest, now, I wouldn't change him for the world. He's the most beautifulest thing I've ever laid eyes on, you know. But then, it was like, right, bloody hell, you're going to be a dad. Your DJing's getting a bit mad right now. And you're also in full-time work. So I knew I wasn't ready for a kid. I knew I wasn't. But I thought, well, I'm going to have to step up here. You know, I'm going to have to be a good dad. And at the end of the day, it's the woman's... You've got to respect it, haven't you? You've got to respect what they want to do. And she's an amazing mother now. You know, she really is. And she was always meant to be a mum. I think she knew that. But that is what made us go like this, because we had all of a sudden completely different lives.
You know, I often say this, I say it to a few people, so when you're in relationships, or when you're in a relationship, it's just you and her. You do everything together, you party together, she comes to your DJ sets with you, you're working together, you go home together, you go for food, everything is just you. So your love is on her, and her love is on you.
Yeah.
And then what
you're
happens?
a team, aren't you?
You're a team, yeah. And then what happens is baby comes along. And what happens is there's a bypass of your love then. So yours bypasses, yours goes to your son, because you're like, wow, I've got so amazing. And her, as a mother, her love goes. So what happens is it goes like that, doesn't it? And you forget to love each other. And it's very difficult to balance it.
Yeah.
So I totally get it. Do you know what I mean? I understand it completely. It's easy to do, and a lot of people fail to understand that.
So obviously, Vinny came along, and he came along when I was just in a bad phase of my life with partying. And you know, I'll sit here and I'll admit it, and I'll be open and honest with it. I have. There's been times where I haven't been a shit dad so far, because I've just let this life get a grip of me, and not been there when I should have been, and still been out and in the, you know. My baby mum's had to do it all on her own sometimes, and it's this is what resulted in the partying and the DJing taking over what was important, like, and it happens with so many DJs that are big, you know. This is why a lot of DJs have to go teetotal, because they lose a lot, and I did. I had a house, a car, a great woman, you know, and a beautiful son, and it went, and it were my fault, you know, but it wasn't who I was. It was just, I got, the industry and the lifestyle got a grip of me, and you just forget, don't you? You change as a person, like,
while you're in it.
Yeah, while you're doing it that regularly. When it's been a dream of yours ever since you've been young, and you're finally at a position where you're in these celebrity circles, and you're playing big crowds.
And for your words, I've made it.
Yeah, big crowds regularly, and everyone loves you, and everyone wants you to DJ because you're the vibe, and you know, it's like everything I've ever wanted.
Well, it's like most people go when you get that little bit of an ego and you get that reputation, don't you? Regardless of what reputation is. And most people go, yeah, I don't care about reputation. But you do.
Yeah.
You do care.
Yeah.
When people are looking for you and they want you,
yeah,
please believe me, anybody, they're lying if they turn and go, nah, he didn't really. No, it does.
Well, yeah, exactly that. And it's like, I think I was just immature. I needed to grow up a lot more to know that. And you know, I'm 27 years old. I'm still young, really.
You can still make amends. You've still got plenty of time to make amends.
Yeah, but look, it turned out that we shouldn't have been together anyway, you know. Yeah. But we'll be brilliant parents now. And I'll make sure that I'm a brilliant dad. I know I will. I know that for a fact. Because now I've had a bit of a wake up call in the past, and my mum and that have said, look, you can't do this, you need to do this, and, you know, not make the same mistakes my old man made, really.
Do you know what it is? I think also, because of the podcast, and I'll verify this as well, at the beginning, when people come on the podcast, I always say to them, look, if there's any questions you don't want me to ask you, let me know. And you said, listen, ask me anything you want. I'm an open book. And there's some people that do come on and go, oh, I'm not too sure if you can. And like I said, I'll delete most things out if I think it's a little bit glamorising, or if it, like when you were talking about for your mate's little brother, I just said, listen, let's just say that, you know, he got a little bit of a slap or something. But there's something interesting that came that I saw, and I don't research people because I think it takes away the authenticity of the interview. I like to learn, but I did. What blew my mind is we had the conversation. As soon as we had the conversation, it won't have been not even 12 hours. You'd had a video posted out, bang, Instagram. Listen, I'm going on. Like, I thought, wow. So I automatically went on your page, and I always avoid it. And what I did is I came across a couple of videos. The one where he does that, which I still don't believe is true. I came across a video, and I think you made it in January. I'll try to work out the weeks of when the video was. And you were doing 2 months of sobriety.
Yeah.
But also you were doing GoFund for your dad. Because your dad had passed away with leukemia.
Leukemia, yeah.
Yeah. So what got you to that point there? What got you there? Because
this is what I mean, mate.
Yeah, because it's a strong statement, especially when you put it. I don't have social media, like business wise we have it, but I don't personally have a social. So for me, I think it takes some balls, mate. Just me being honest, it takes balls for you to go on that camera, being who you are with the notoriety that you've got as a DJ, everybody knowing you, to go on there and go, right, look, I'm gonna do 2 months sobriety. Got too much X, Y, and Z. I mean, obviously you can continue with the words, and then you also do the GoFundMe for a good cause, which was a charity, good leukemia. Yeah. So, how did you get to that bit? Because that must have took a heavy load to do it.
The exact same reason. The partying just got so much, and I was gonna lose everything, and I thought I need to do something here to sort this out because it's getting a bit much. And I thought, right, I'll do 2 months sober from January. Dry Jan's always a thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll try do 2 months, and I'll do it for my dad, so that I don't fucking fuck up, basically. You know.
Yeah. So you don't fail it.
It's a good cause, and it'll be what'll enable me to pull through with it. I did January, and then I crumbled in Feb. I crumbled, mate, and it was the worst feeling on the planet.
Because you put your dad in the mix.
Yeah, I felt like I'd let him down so much, and just let so many people down, and it was just this partying again. And now I think I've got to a point where everything I had in life has gone. It's not gone, but I'd lost it. So I'd lost, even my mum and that. I'd not spoke to them for ages. My dad in here. I didn't have the perfect family life that I'd always wished for when I had my own children. My house gone, my car gone, my job gone. I got sacked from my job recently, so I've only, and I had to go to the very bottom to realise that, right, this is time to change now. This is time to change, and I genuinely feel like now I'm not touching any drugs. I'll go.
Since when?
I'll go. Not like long ago. Not like long ago. A few weeks ago, probably.
So what I'll say now, and I'll say on camera, there'll be a guy that will watch this because he watches all of them. And there's a guy who I'm literally going to speak to. Yeah, and when I say I trust this guy, and he's in recovery, and he'd be a good guy for you to talk with.
Yeah.
100%. Like, he's a good guy. He's a really good guy. After we finish here, I'm going to actually ring him. So obviously you can have a quick chat, and then you might be able to exchange phone numbers. Because I think, honestly, you do deserve it.
Yeah.
And this guy will help you.
Yeah, definitely.
He will help you.
Definitely.
So, I've got a couple of questions for you.
Yeah, man.
Because it's quite a journey you've been on at only 27, mate. It's a journey, innit? Do you know what I mean? You've hit the highs and the lows. And you know what it is? I think
all my mates say my life's like an episode of Leeds to the EastEnders.
Oh, let's stick to Emmerdale.
Let's stick to Northern, shall we?
Yeah, let's stick to up north. So, a couple of questions. Usually I ask this because people are a bit older, but I'm going to ask it to you because, I'm just going to ask it. So, it's a 2-part question.
Mm-hmm.
If you could go back in time and you could change anything, 1, what would it be?
Bloody hell.
And 2, so what would it be and why? Because you've got to remember, sometimes changing the past doesn't bring you to where you are now. And although you think of the bad times that you're in now, if you change your path, you might not necessarily have your son. And you can't think of anything worse than not having him right now.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So,
God, it's a tough
would you
one,
change
that,
anything?
Man. I mean, yeah. Fucking hell, I've let too many people down in the past, and I hate that because I hate letting people down, and I love to surprise people with nice things. I love to give people presents, and I love to, provide for people. And when I was with my partner, and at first she wasn't working, and I was covering the whole mortgage, the whole bills, all everything. Paying a lot of money a month before I could even get a pint, and it felt good, man. I felt good. I felt like a man, So the thought of being somebody completely different who owes people money or is letting the family down and stuff like that, that ain't me. That's not me at all. And that's what I've realised, that I'm changing to be the person that I always should have been. So what I would have changed is, I hate to say it because now my dad's not here, I cherish those times that I had with him so much, where I was in that flat with him. We had me and him time, which he'd always wanted because I'd not been with him since I was 3. But I genuinely feel like because I moved there at that age, I got into drugs so quickly because everyone were on it around there. And, you know, my dad was like, and I was just in that circle from like 15 onwards. And I think if I'd have stuck where I was, sort of a horse of ways, maybe I would have gone down a bit of a different path with it, and I wouldn't have gone off the rails as quick.
Okay, well that leads me on to my next question then. So my last question, and obviously you'll get to ask any question you want then. Knowing you're similar to me, where undiagnosed ADHD, I can only imagine what you're going to ask me. So my last question is I'm saying this like you're an old man, but you're far from it. But because you've had on a journey, so what advice would you give? I'm not going to say. So what advice would you give yourself, and also what advice would you give the younger generation, especially in the current climate that we're in now? So we'll start with yourself. What advice would you give your younger self?
Go back to your roots. Go back to where you came from. Go back to the morals that you were taught by your mum, stepdad, dad, granddad. You know, think about that. Think about what they taught you, and become that person. Because I've got an amazing family around me. My dad's side, and my mum's side, and my stepdad's side. I've got a brilliant family around me, and a lot of people are not fortunate enough to have that, and I'm taking the piss out of that. How can you take the piss out of having an amazing family around you like that? Remember where you came from, and don't, you know, just stay true to yourself, and just be honest, be truthful. Don't tell white lies. Don't try and get out of anything. Just own your shit. And be a man and put it right. That's what I would give my own self advice.
Wow. Strong statement. It's a really strong statement. What about the younger generation?
Okay, don't end up like me. I'd say,
especially in the current climate that we're in now.
Don't be a sheep. Don't get easily swayed. You know, stick to your guns with things, and if you're, especially music, if I give a bit of advice to someone that's young in music, I'd say, look, follow your sound. Don't worry about these trending sounds, these people that are trying to say your sound shit, or you should do this with this sound. Follow your sound and your passion, right, and somebody will spot it and notice it, and then you're in a place where you're laying down your vibe to people that are getting down to your vibe, that are feeling it, and you yourself as a DJ, as a musical artist.
I understand why you're saying that, because having listened to some of your music, you take it, you've got like this old school mentality to you, but mixed with a new school vibe.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I listen to some of the sets, and it's just the way, I can't explain it, but you're gonna have to go watch some of his sets. Or watch some of his clips that's on his Instagram. So mate, Mr. Diamond, DJ Jack Diamond. It's your turn for a question, pal.
Yeah. Okay. Why do you do this? What has made you think, do you know what, I'm gonna get people on a sofa and I'm gonna talk about their lives. What do you feel like you get out of it?
Oh, that's a good question. So, having watched podcasts, and people have tried to have me on their podcast, and they tried to draw out the glamorization of side, you know, like oh yeah, I did this and I did that to that man, and I ran gangs and I sold this amount of drugs and this. And one of the things that, because obviously we're not just podcasts, so obviously we go in schools, like I said to you before.
That's brilliant of you to do.
Yeah, so we go in school. So the podcast, why I wanted to do it, or why we wanted to do it, was is because we didn't want it to be about glamorization and glamorizing people, because again, people will come on and they go, oh yeah, I did this and I did that, and then 25 years later I've changed my life around. Well, a kid that's watching is going to go, well, he was bad, he went to jail, he did all that and changed his life around, so I can.
Yeah.
So our thing was more of a fact of, because people do not come on here unless I want them on. It really is that simple.
Yeah.
So what it is if I believe you've got a story to tell, you'll come on, because I believe the story that you will tell me and the audience is going to influence other people in a positive way. So that's the only reason people get on here, is because I believe the story that you're about to tell me, people are going to listen to, people are going to be influenced by it, and people are going to listen to it and go, wow. And some people are not going to ever have seen that side of you.
No.
Do you know what I mean? There's people that are going to be out there going, oh, listen, he's always life and so, but not actually understand the demons that's going on behind the scenes. Do you know what I mean? So for us, this is what it was.
And it's like you say, if you can, you know, because even this will have done me the world of good sitting on this sofa today, because
it's what I call couch confessions.
Yeah, exactly, brother. And I thank you massively for having me, because it's therapy, man. Yeah. And it's like I know that I am the sort of person where music is my drug.
Do you know what it is? And I get that. Like, I can be in whatever mood and I will play music. Music has always been...
It's a cure.
Yeah.
Music is the answer.
Yeah, and you know what it is? It's a good song because it's true. Music is the answer.
To your problems.
Yeah, it is. And it doesn't matter what music, like I play all types of genre. I don't just stick with one. I've got so many. I mean, I'm not the greatest lover of garage. I just don't do it. Although I heard one of your garage, you did a little garage mix of these two songs, which was pretty good.
Yeah.
So that being said, my friend, that's your camera there. So if you can let anybody know what you've got coming up, and where they, because this is going to go out this Sunday. Now. This is going to go out this Sunday. This.
Is it?
Yeah, this will be out this Sunday.
Let me think now.
So bank holidays next weekend.
Okay. Yeah. So obviously, got a hell of a lot coming up abroad in Tenerife. We've got a massive club night coming up at a place in Cyprus called Goaba. Go check that out, it's a madness. A lot of festivals that are already booked in for next year, which I'll keep you updated with. New music and production. We've some big vocalists that have agreed to come do some lyrics for us. This weekend alone, we've got a big content event day at Blue Collar Barbers in Friday. We're in North Wales at Millionaire's Corner in Abersock, I think, with Love Island lot on Saturday. And we've got Ultra Courtyard Party on Sunday.
Well, listen, mate, I want to say thank you for coming on.
Yeah, man.
And yeah, I believe you are going to be quite an inspiration, especially to the younger generation as well. Because there'll be a lot of kids, younger people, similar age to you and younger, they're going to be looking up to you. And I think for you to give your story there, I appreciate it, and I'm sure that they will as well.
Look, it's hard. It's hard for when you're that sort of character and you get into something like DJing. Do you know? Even my mum said I'd have been bloody a nightmare if I were a DJ, because she used to love it, going out and life of the party, and just loved being in an atmosphere and everyone having a good time. You know,
because it was good time.
So many people have said to me that they would have been screwed if they were a DJ, because they're like me.
Yeah.
And I've got so many mates who they can go do a set sober, no bother, no influence, no temptation, because they're just naturally not bothered as much about, like...
Well, it is part of your persona though, isn't it? It is part of your persona, so I think that's why it's kind of like a...
It's a risky one, but it can be sorted. It can be sorted before you make life-changing mistakes. And that's what advice I'd give. Just listen to the people of the older generation that care about you, like your family. And it might sound like they're talking bollocks at the time, and they're just being divs. They're not divs, man. They're looking out for you, and they've seen it happen to people before. They don't want to see it happen to their own.
Definitely.
That's it.
Well, honestly, thank you for coming on.
Thank you,
appreciate
my brother.
it. No
Honestly,
problem, mate.
Thank you very much.
Take care, mate. Honestly,
Yeah.
in fact, we are staying in contact though, definitely.
Yeah, man. 100%. Life's too short, bro.